Hey guys, this is Matt Wenning at winningstrength.com, and today we're going to talk about how to reduce body fat fast. So let's hang tight. Maybe I'll throw you guys some things that you haven't seen before, and this will allow you to lose some body fat quickly if you have something coming up, or you just want to get a head start in reducing body fat. So let's get at it. The first thing that I would personally take out of my diet if I was trying to lose body fat fast is gluten. Now, gluten is in the form of pastas, breads, and you'd be surprised at all the things that gluten has been put into. But gluten tends to be a natural inflammation type property as far as food goes, meaning that I have seen a lot of clients cut their gluten out of their diet, and then what ends up happening is that they end up losing 5, 10, 15, depending on how overweight you are, 20, 30 pounds within 2 to 3 months. Now, this isn't just a reduction in calories, this is a reduction in inflammation. And what we found is that with GMO, or genetically modified foods, like gluten is now in the United States, is that it tends to be very inflammatory to the body, causing a lot of bloating in the face, the stomach, and all these other areas. And when you just cut gluten out, it tends to actually harden you up pretty fast, especially if you're slightly overweight. So the first thing I would do is cut out gluten for its inflammatory processes. The next thing that I would cut out in most forms is dairy. Dairy is also genetically modified a lot in the United States, but what you find is that dairy tends to have a lot of estrogenic effects. So especially fat-free dairy, like fat-free yogurts and things of that nature, tend to have a lot of issues with raising your estrogens. So the problem is that if you're trying to get leaned out or you're trying to lose body fat and you're raising your estrogens, it's like putting diesel fuel in a gasoline car. It just doesn't work. So the problem is that when you start to cut back the dairy, what you start to realize is that it's actually going to affect your hormones in a positive fashion, therefore helping you get lean faster. So if we got somebody that comes in and only has maybe 30, 60 days for a certain percentage of what their body weight wants to be or their body fat needs to drop, we cut dairy immediately. Now, there are some forms of dairy that are super good. You want to get a higher fat Greek yogurt that doesn't have any flavoring, which tastes like shit, but it's a lot of reasons why people don't eat it, but it actually is pretty good and has a lot of gut probiotics in it. It's also very high in protein, upwards of around 20 grams per serving. So I do like Greek yogurt, but the problem is Chobani and all these other types of Greek yogurts that have like 30 grams of sugar in them, you're not going to get leaner off of eating that. It has to be the plain, shitty tasting one. That will help. The other thing that can help too is hard cheeses. So instead of using mozzarella and all these other things that we've considered low-fat, healthy cheese, you want to use cheddar and Parmesan. So I use cheddar and Parmesan on a lot of my foods and when I'm cooking at home to give it a little flavor, give it a little bit of boost. But you find the harder the cheese, the less estrogenic the cheese is. I learned a lot of that from Charles Poliquin, and it seemed to help not only myself, but a lot of the clients that I deal with. So cut back or cut out your dairy, and that's the second phase of getting leaner. The third thing is that what we really have to start understanding is that if you do a little bit of research, getting better sleep is also going to help you get leaner. So how do you do that? Well, one, ATP Labs makes something called Cinermag. I take 4 to 6 of these tablets every night before I go to bed, and I find that my sleep is not only deeper, but much more recoverable. Now, you could lay in bed for 10 hours, but if you're not getting quality restoration sleep, it's not going to matter. I find that magnesium deficiencies, which probably 60 to 80% of the population has today, is a huge reason why most people don't get good sleep. So if you're having sleep issues, make sure you're supplementing magnesium from ATP Labs. But remember that sleep is also a huge culprit of you not gaining or losing the body fat that you want to lose. So progression can come from all these different factors, but I find that cutting the gluten, cutting the dairy, and then increasing the magnesium to increase the quality of sleep is huge. And let's not forget, go to bed earlier. If you go to bed earlier, your chances of getting better sleep are much, much higher. So if you're staying up till 11, 12, 1 a.m. in the morning, your chances of getting a good sleep pattern are not very, very well. I think to give you guys some inside information and some tips, I think one of the reasons that I got strong so quick as a kid and I was able to maintain it and actually progress it and break world records was the fact that ever since I was little, I always wanted to go to bed early. I never was a late night owl, and staying up till 11 was extremely late for me my entire adult life. So the point is that what I would say is that if you want to get leaner, you definitely want to focus on your sleep, you definitely want to cut out your gluten, and you definitely want to try to strip your dairy and watch the progress happen. Now, if you need some more help, hop on to Patreon or get on wenningstrength.com and contact us for online coaching, where sometimes we plug in the nutrition based on someone's needs and what they're looking for. So talk to you guys later.